where do you draw your inspiration from when you're dancing? And, this is more from like a theoretical perspective, not necessarily it didn't have to be necessarily Krump, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like just dancing in general, because it seems like you're a fan of all types of different movements. And you've even told me before you want to do choreography with me. I was like, oh, I would love to do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're such a passionate person for different styles and different and just dance in general. So where do you draw your inspiration from? Is it people? Is it styles? Is it movement? Is it music? Is it like objects? Are you inspired by, when you see the way a desk is sitting in it, like, or a chair and the way it rolls around, you're like, ooh, I like that,
Ooh, I want to roll.
I want to roll like a chair, or like events, there's something happening in the world that's super important and that inspires you. What are some of these things that you sort of pull from to sort of keep you in your dance?
I draw a lot of my dance from my feeling.
Nice.
From how I think, how I'm thinking ngayon and how I'm feeling. If, for example, it's, kasi yung music na papakinggan ko, it depends on how I feel. So it will always be dependent on that. And sometimes, pagka gusto ko lang mag-freestyle, it also depends on my intention. Pero my intention will also depend on my feeling. Hindi maganda yung pakiramdam ko ngayon. So, ang intention ko is to release that feeling.
Yeah.
So, sige, gusto ko mag-release ng feeling. So, mamimili ako ng kanta na nakakaiyak. Kasi gusto kong umiyak. Ganon. So, dun talaga siya nag-system. And I think, yun din yung strength ko and at the same time weakness ko sa dance ko. Strength ko siya kasi it gives parang mas nagiging genuine yung dance ko.
Yeah.
Siguro.
Yeah.
hindi naman talaga ako technically magaling sumayaw. Mas magaling ako mag-perform kaysa mas magaling sumayaw.
Oh, wow.
Yun yung feeling ko lang. Ang sama na ugali ko. Tapos, from there, saan na ba ako? Ayun, doon ako nag-start.
Feeling.
Dance.
Yeah.
And then, yung movement, pagka nandun na ako, when I'm in the zone na, doon lang ako sumusunod yung music and then sumusunod yung movement.
Mm-hmm.
With the style naman, not really.
Mm-hmm.
Lalo pagka, lang ako, when I'm just expressing.
Yeah.
When I'm not in a battle, when I'm not in a tournament, when I'm not showcasing, and mas freestyle ako in expressing, yung style really doesn't get into my mind.
Right. I like that. I like, this is a super interesting conversation because when you said about feeling, it shows us that everyone has different drivers for how they get into their dance. So for example, I know many people who will pick songs. They listen to it. It sounds dope. And then it puts them into a mood, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, and then I'll get in that zone. What you're saying is like, you have that mood already. And then you'll just look for the song that supports that mood. You know what I mean? And neither one is wrong or right. It's just different, And so I love that. I think, I'm one, to me, there are a lot of times where I'm photo feeling, in a sense that, there's something that I'm going through and then dance is definitely my release. So that's how I operate. There are times where I'm looking for movement. So I will look for the kind of music that will allow me to access a different movement. There are other times where I really love the song. And so I kind of want to, just interpret that song. I think that's why even for me, this might be, like me saying this, it might sound weird, but sometimes I even find myself like being more of a fan of like music than I am of dance, even though I dance a lot. And I think the reason is this, like, so for example, I remember when I was trying out the different styles. So breaking, I was doing breaking a lot. That's how I started. And then I stopped because my friends around me weren't breaking anymore. And nakakapagod siya mag-isa. So I got into popping. So popping because you just have to stand, you know, I don't have to do all this physical stuff, right? Uh, and then I got into Krump, but at the time with Krump, I was in Virginia, which was like the country. And so parang everyone was listening to country music there. And, you know, like if I played Krump music, they're just kind of like, what's that? You know? Um, so, you know, I realized at the time was I like music because even though I like popping, like I didn't want my playlist to be all popping music, or I didn't want my playlist to be all like breaking, and then I didn't want all of my Krump music to be like, whoa, job, you know what I mean, like the deep beats and all of that. And so for me, music was what sort of got me to different parts to sort of experiment, and and I think it's an interesting thing because maybe as dancers we don't take a step back to kind of look at that. Sometimes it's, you know, you might feel like, all right, what's the next movement? What's the next style? What's the next like physical thing I'm going to learn? Right. And then when you take a step back, like what you said, it's not necessarily, it's really less about the style for you personally. It's about what the emotions that you're going through. And it really speaks to the nature of what dance is, which to some, this may sound cliche, but it's the expression. Right. It's the fact that you're just able to use it to, I know, man, I can't count how many times I've been stressed out before and dance has been my outlet. You know what I mean? So that's a great thing. And people have different inspirations. I know some people who got into dance because of specific figures in their life that made an impression on them. And that's how they feel they honor them. And that's how, that's what allows them to sort of be inspired. You know what I mean? Like this is like, we're like deep stuff, you know, like talagang the nature of why you do what you do. So thank you for sharing that. I know that's a very personal thing, but I think it's something that people can learn from and maybe reflect on for themselves in their own dance journey. Really cool stuff there. Thank you.